Let's get into Ethereum today. This is one of the most undervalued assets that is out there in the crypto market. We're going to break it down for you. It's going to be a good one. It'll get into a lot of details. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into TechPath. Let's go into it. I want to thank sponsor, Mr. Coinbase. How are you out there? You guys are brand new to crypto right now. This is the place where you want to start your journey. It's very easy to set up. Anybody can do it. All you need is do a little bit of AML. You get your driver's license, your bank accounts connected, all that. Then you can trade. Go out there, buy some Ethereum. Just go out, buy a little Ethereum right now. Not financial advice, but check it out. You're going to get up to 200 bucks in crypto just to get started. So this is the time, guys. We are in a market correction right now that could be one for the books. Let's go into a couple of things right now on the fear and greed. Fear and greed is definitely holding at a 52 right now. We have clearly escalated off that bottom. So the bottom is over. It appears that we will not see that type of scenario again. Now, granted, could there be something crazy as far as a black swan? Yeah, of course. But other than that, it appears that the tariff scare has worn off, and we are now seeing a potential upside going forward. Remember, buying early, even when the markets are tumultuous, is the key to making wealth. When you look at that along with other scenarios playing out for Ethereum right now, is the quarterly returns. Now, we have not seen 3 consecutive returns on Ethereum in the negative, I think all the way back to, 2016? So right now we are in for a pump possibly in Q3. Could see that little 24% similar to what we saw in 2022. Be on the lookout for that. That would be a nice move for Ethereum. And a lot of people, I think, that are looking at Ethereum in general can kind of see that as a potential. Now, there is a lot of movement because of the devs and all the upgrades that are being made. Many people are now saying we could see a 10K ETH. This is all based off of Vitalik's bold upgrades. This sparks a little bit of a whale frenzy. Vitalik wants to replace ETH's EVM with the new platform Risc-v, and this is kind of where it gets into it. Hardware level CPU architecture. Remember, this came from Polkadot. Polkadot already did this, and it's interesting because the Polkadot community actually kind of is cool with this. So if you look at China is now to publish policy boost, and this is in reference to the Risc-v chip, using nationwide access. So this could be a big move as China starts to roll out more involvement on this technology. And then you go back over here to the Pectra mainnet upgrade. This is happening over on May 7th. This will be early in the morning on May 7th, just around the corner. This is pretty much the biggest upgrade that they have done since the blob upgrade, other than when we saw kind of the evolution of Ethereum as a modern token. This one is going to make a huge difference, and it could be the catalyst to move Ethereum quickly up the charts. Let's go take a look at upgrades, because this right here, if you go back into 2021, remember that was the last bull run. They were hovering at just a handful of upgrades. Look at this dynamic move right here, guys. The reason this is happening right now, institutional capital, RWAs, we are seeing a shift in the monetary system. It's very possible that ETH could be right there, dead center for all of this. I want to go to this next clip.
All of these upgrades that we're seeing, they're like the culmination of a decade of actually 5 different strands of work that have all been trying to solve all of these fundamental problems that have prevented the L1 scale from going higher without compromising security or compromising decentralization, right?
All right, so biggest one that you could consider was gas fees. That was the biggest problem we saw in the last bull run. If you're brand new to crypto, the issue was every time you traded on ETH, it was very expensive to do that, even in traditional trades, much less if you're transferring into NFTs or other assets. Now we have RWAs involved. Take a look at the ETH chart right now in terms of gas fees. It has definitely been trending down, even from October of just last year. It has absolutely bottomed out here. So that, again, is another benefit for where we're going to see Ethereum start to move. All right, let me jump to a couple other charts here. This is coming over from Token Terminal, but usage activity on Bitcoin and ETH has been up only. It's actually up only on Ethereum. That's the up. This is the downtrend that we're seeing on Bitcoin. So it tells you that devs, obviously, we're not seeing any growth in developers there. You can kind of see right there, transaction fee revenue, clearly Ethereum outpacing Bitcoin by a magnitude amount. Then you further into this, Ethereum generating revenue on both ETH holders and validators. Remember that right now, Bitcoin only generates revenue on miners. So that's I think the fallacy in the system. Once we see the evolution of miners mining all the Bitcoin, and I know it's down the road, but still being able to plan this out, that's why I think you're going to continue to see growth here on ETH. Last point I want to get to is this one right here, and this is both Bitcoin and Ethereum have unprecedentedly high market caps, but they're based on core developers. But I don't necessarily see that in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Right there, the fall off, and really just pretty much flat on Bitcoin. Look at Ethereum. I mean, yes, you had the correction, but other than that correction, we have seen up and to the right. We could see another all-time high in terms of core developers coming into the ecosystem. So another good advantage for Ethereum. And if you look at this, Ethereum is in a position right now, it just doesn't make sense why it has not seen an unbelievable run around this. And some of this, many people I would say, is still being manipulated by some of the majors. ARK investment, they made their first direct investment into Solana. So this is another thing that I want to get to, because I think some of the people that are in the know, maybe not necessarily in the know. And what I mean by this is ARK choosing to go in Solana versus ETH. If you look at this next tweet right here, Galaxy Digital also kind of copied that trade and is also unlocking and going into Solana as well. And here's the point, when you look at Solana, it's not that it's a bad trade, it's just that when you compare it to the opportunity going forward, Solana's still, yes, it has been pulled back, but does it have a huge upside like what Ethereum could be doing is the big question. This is Cathie Wood's trade on NVIDIA. And the reason I'm showing this is they exited back here in October. They let all that happen right there. That was almost 1,000% in gain. And then they re-entered back here in June. So when you look at Cathie Wood, ARK, though they are excellent, this was a miss. And I think that the core principles of what Ethereum offers has a lot of similarities to what the core principles of NVIDIA were to AI. And that is the miss that I think Wall Street is making on not getting into Ethereum versus some of these other projects. If you look at kind of these extreme fear positions, remember we just went through one, just buy in those spots right there, boom, up, boom, up, boom. As you can see, it is a license to print money when you go and do this. It almost works with almost any major catalyst asset that's out there, including if you look at some of the, the cores around where technology is going. ETH is kind of leading the way there. I want to go to another clip here. This clip is going to get into the whole idea of Ethereum is money. Take a look.
September 2022, this was the merge, and you can see that at that point, we've basically stopped the growth of the supply of Ether. In March 2024, earlier this year, the Den-Kun hard fork introduced effectively some of the activity that was taking place on the L1, some of the activity that was burning ETH on the L1 migrated to L2s, but the overall impact on the total supply is almost negligible, meaning that over the course of a year, we have 1.1 million new ETH created, which is less than 1% annual inflation. Solana inflation looks a little different, and at a 7% yield, or a 4.7% annual inflation rate, so 5 times higher than Ether inflation. It's also interesting to look at Bitcoin inflation. And for the next 4 years, there'll be 3.125 Bitcoin per block. 0.8% inflation annually is about the same as the Ether inflation.
If ETH is permissionless money, why do we need Bitcoin?
I don't know. Bitcoin serves a role as kind of pet rock.
What is the ticker?
The ticker is ETH.
All right, so you get kind of the bullish case of where Ethereum could be looked at in terms of inflationary as a money source. One point I want to jump over to on Dune Analytics right here. As these become a little bit more interoperable, this is a fairly significant growth chart already. We are going to see a growth chart that you will not even recognize. This is just the beginning of the bell curve that could be occurring. You can kind of see Unichain right there, and then of course ETH leading the way. All right, so one thing to consider is after the next major advancements, which will be one-click transactions. Let me go to this clip right here. Take a look.
7702 enabled wallets will be able to do Uniswap trades with one click or one transaction instead of 2. And so Ethereum becomes 2 times less annoying. Yay.
You gotta love, you gotta love Vitalik. And that is right. Yeah, yay. But that's a big yay, because that's a huge step in the process of where this can go for trades on Uniswap. Big, big, big guys out there. The other thing that could happen is speed. Speed is the thing that will kill in terms of monetary systems. Remember that Visa is still one of the fastest networks out there. What happens if Ethereum becomes as fast or faster? Take a look.
We can reduce from 12 seconds to 8 seconds. Also, we want to like decrease from 8 seconds to 4 seconds, right? And I mean, even 12 seconds, like if you think about credit cards, you know, you tap the credit card, the wheel spins for a while, like it's actually very far from being instant, right? And so competitive with that, but like we want to actually be better, right? Applications that need even faster confirmations, then layer 2s can continue to exist for that. And I think there is going to be a value in layer 2s forever, right?
If they get to that level, which I think they will, we have now disrupted the credit card payment system worldwide. That's the kind of opportunity that sits in front of Ethereum right now. Take a look over at Axelar integrations in terms of contracts. One thing that blockchains will want to do is look at bridging over to be able to get access to DeFi. So this, of course, is going to increase transactions. This is already happening with Flow, Axelar, with XRP as well. All of this, they're chasing the idea of, one, liquidity, and also the opportunity here, I think, in terms of growth. So this, of course, kind of shows you the growth already within the XRP ecosystem. RLUSD, once that it started to go into Aave, look at that growth, boom. We're going to continue to see that. And then even tokenized commodities, gold. This is another one that will continue to grow within the ETH ecosystem. All of this playing out. Now let's look at this, because you got to consider, when you think about gold, China's now looking at setting up overseas warehouses for Shanghai Gold Exchange. Now the reason that is important is because of this information right here. Let's go to this clip.
That is where I think China is trying to have more of an impact. I would encourage everybody out there to go look at the Shanghai Gold Exchange. They have made tremendous leaps in opening up to allow for settlement and physical delivery. So if you're a country that trades with China, you have a surplus in renminbi, you can use that to then buy gold at the Shanghai Gold Exchange, and then you can physically deliver it to wherever you wish. That is the area that China is going to, I think, be more aggressive.
So with that being the case, tokenized gold, that's where the ETH opportunity starts to play into this. And we already know China is one of the biggest, if not the largest, gold holder in the world. But major Chinese insurance companies now are investing in gold on the gold exchange. And if you look at the numbers they're talking about, under the pilot, 10 insurance companies can now invest in up 1% of their assets in gold. That's 200 billion yuan, approximately 24 billion in USD. So again, this is just the beginning of what the potential can be for tokenized gold going forward. Let me go to a couple more clips here. This is Scott Bessent talking about this very point on the Shanghai Gold Exchange. Listen in.
You see things happening on the margin. This Shanghai Gold Exchange, very interesting. Could we imagine some kind of a RMB that is exchangeable into gold, maybe at a premium?
I don't disagree with any of that, which is probably why I find myself constantly sort of rolling my eyes when people mention Bitcoin.
Gold can be a risk off and a risk on asset. Bitcoin is a risk on asset. So
all right, so Bessent has already kind of shown that his interest is in other alternatives, and I think ETH is definitely one of them. Bessent also goes in, take a look.
We are going to keep the U.S. the dominant reserve currency in the world, and we will use stablecoins to do that. Thank you.
Well, you know what that means. Stablecoins, obviously that starts to go into, guess who, Ethereum. Look at the market cap right now overall, which is continuing to expand right here. I'm going to zoom in on that for you guys. ETH still leading the way right there in a significant way. This is the future of where stablecoins are going to be. And if the U.S. is going to dominate, Ethereum is going to benefit from all of this. Last up, couple of things I want to hit on right here. Ron Hammond's talking about a huge month coming up, and May is going to be busy. I think we're going to see our stablecoin bill get through. Ron's out playing a little golf. Next week is going to be a return week for Congress, and this means that we could see a quick advancement on regulatory framework, and that means stablecoins and possibly French Hill supposedly making some extra effort work that could get FET21 moving into passage as well. If all of those things were to come to reality, at the timing could be huge for the markets, and I think Ethereum could, again, be one of the big winners here going forward. One other thing that is going to be good for ETH is around gaming season, and that is because of the launch of all these new consoles. We saw the Sweet Play, the Nintendo Switch gets launched, and the opportunity for these active accounts are going to continue to grow. We're going to see a lot more gamers starting to get more active, and most likely we're going to see some Web3 integrations within all of this. And if you look at the big players, you have to consider Microsoft. We did this video quite a while back, Microsoft choosing Ethereum over Bitcoin. And the reason is the opportunity here going forward for these bigger players is going to be integrated into Web3. That's where Ethereum plays into this in terms of opportunity. This is huge, guys. Make sure, if you're not in the Diamond Circle, get in right now. It's a great place to get additional content from us. And you can also get into our Telegram group, which is a private one. We only have one. Use the link down below this video. And I'm in there all the time, so I'm happy to chat with you guys. Follow me on X, @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.